That should be which page? I've got it, page 110. Page 110. Page 110. So I read, and it says, the following information relates to Jambo Limited. So net profit after tax. So we have been given for 3 years. (2013, 14, 15). On 1st February 2014, a rights issue of 1 new share for each 5 shares outstanding was made at an exercise price of (5). Before the rights issue, the number of shares outstanding was 5 million. The last date to exercise the right was 1st March 2014. The fair value of 1 ordinary share immediately before the exercise of the rights on 1st March 2014 was (11). Required earnings per share (EPS) for each of the years ended 31st December 2013, 14, and 15. Sawa. So, right there, basic EPS, the formula. Basic EPS is equals to profit attributable to ordinary shareholders divided by the weighted average number of outstanding shares, ordinary shares. So we start with this one, house. So in this case, we start with reported profit after tax. So shillings are in millions. Like that. So profit after tax. The reported profit after tax of 30, 38, then 45. There was no preference dividends, otherwise I would have subtracted. Preference div was not there. Therefore, powers 30, 38, 45. Good. So we go for one-offs 2013. So please check that question once more. 2013. Check 2013 keenly. When you check 2013 keenly, there is nothing. Up to now, when you roll in 2014 in note number check note number 2 and 3. In note 2, on 1st February 2014, a rights issue of 1 new share. So the rights issue took place in February. In note 3, before the rights issue, the number of shares outstanding were 5. So before rights issue, January was the opening from last year. It means last year, these people just closed with the 5. So you come and say, basic EPS, basic earnings per share, 2013 will be, basic EPS 2013 will be profit, which is 30, you divide by 1/0. So 1/0 here is 5. You get shilling 6 per share. There were no shares before they mentioned that, so that is it. Then let's go to 2014. 2014, there was a rights issue. Any moment you come across rights issue, you must get the ex-rights price first. So let's calculate ex-rights price, ex-rights. Using the question we did last, can you try to apply that in this question and tell me ex-rights ni ngapi? So I'm waiting for someone to calculate for me the ex-rights price. Someone to try to calculate ex-rights price in that question and tell me how much based on what we did. For purposes of time, let's calculate it together. So they were giving rights in note 2, a right issue of 1 new share. So they are getting 1 new at what price? Remember, ex-rights price is the average. So a right issue of 1 new share for every 5 shares outstanding. So you get 1 new for every 5. So for every 5 you are having, you get 1 new. So I read note 2 again. On 1st February 2014, a rights issue of 1 new share for every 5 shares outstanding was made at an exercise price of 5. So this new were coming at shillings 5. But the 5 old, read note number 5, the fair value of ordinary shares immediately before the exercise of the rights on 1st May 2014 was shillings 11. So before the rights issue, price was 11. It means the old were trading at 11, but the 1 new will be exercised at 5. So this one is 5, this times this is 55. Therefore, this person will end up having 6 value So this person will end up having seats valued at 60. So X rights price is the average. So X rights will be 60, this one, divided by 6, which is shillings 10 per share. Have that. So for those who are joining, we have just started from here. You can take a screenshot. I have taken the screenshot. So down here, that is the X rights price. So whenever there is a rights issue, how you weigh the shares, how you determine the weighted average becomes slightly different. So let's go to weight. So right there, WANOS. Right there, WANOS. So we want to get the weighted average. So in the weighted average, you write date, details, shares, weight. When there is a rights issue, you write here bonus factor. Bonus factor, then WANOS. Then WANOS. So have that arrangement. Whenever you have a rights issue, this is how you, okay, the weight of shares is the same, everything, except if there is no rights issue, you drop this issue of bonus factor. But if there's a rights issue, you have to fix this one here. And the bonus factor, please note this, bonus factor, we take the fair value on CAMRIGHT. So the CAMRIGHT price over the X rights. That is how we get that bonus factor. And in the morning, I did explain it into details. So you are wanting to master it that way. CAMRIGHT is the fair value before rights issue. X rights is the theoretical, which is the average. That one you will never be given. You have to compute the one we have computed as 10. So why do we call it bonus? Rights issue is normally giving shares at a discount. So you see, when you give shares at a discount, discount means you are giving them at a price lower than the market value. So the difference between the exercise price and the market value, there is that variation. That is the bonus element. It needs to be adjusted when you are weighing the shares. So from finance, we consider the CAMRIGHT over the X rights price. Let's bring it here. So 2014, we are in 2014. 2014, the year started on 1st January. So 1st January 2014. Details, balance brought down. Balance brought down. Shares now you pick the ones which you closed with. the last year. So last year we closed with 5. We closed with 5. We closed with 5. Then check for me. Rights issue took place when? So that I will know the weight to capture here. So weight, you start from here up to the date of the rights issue. You stop there first. So the rights issue took place on 1st February. So that is only after 1 month, because the year began in January. Rights issue took place on 1st February. So you weigh them up to the date of the rights, which is 1/12. Then the bonus factor will be the CAM right, which is 11, that is the market price, over the average. The average is 10, which is the exercise price. So take this times this times this, you give me the weighted average. Please do for me that. So 0.46. Kindly repeat, Mwalimu Susan, where exactly? 0.46. Where do you want me to repeat? Can type. Then on 1st February 2014, 1st February 2014, rights issue. Rights issue. So, Susan can type here. Well, what are we doing to get? Oh, the 0.46. You take the 5 shares times the weight. Weight is 1 month over 12 months. So 5 times 1/12 times the 11/10. Equal. Alright, so rights issue, check the basis. They were giving them on the basis of 1 new for every 5. Susan, I hope you are sorted. You get 1 for every 5. But how many are we having? We are having 5 of them. So you multiply by 5. You get 1. So after that, this person will be having 6. 6. And the 6, you check the period remaining to the end of the year, or the period remaining to the top up, if they are topping up other shares. There were no top up of shares in 2014. So it means you capture the remaining period, which is 11/12. Very good, Susan. So the remaining period is 11 months to the end of the year, because from here to here was 1 month. Then they have joined to be 6, so 6 times 11/12. So bonus factor is only for the shares before the rights issue. Thereafter, it will not feature again. So you take 6 times this, give me the answer. Mukishika rights issue, you are very good to go with EPS. So 6 times that, Adam, 5.5. Therefore, this will be 5.96. The total weighted average. So the weighted average is 5.96. Therefore, basic EPS will be, the profit was this one here in 2014, 38. So you take 38, divide by 5.96. You get shillings how much per share? Shillings 6 point, let's use 2 decimal places. 6.38. 6.38 per share. Per share. That is it. Who has a question before I finalize in 2015? So I'm assuming no question. If there is, you will post. Meanwhile, we proceed. 2015. 2015, I'm not even going to disturb myself. I won't validate the entire question for 2015. 2015, there's completely nothing. They are not saying anything in regards to 2015. Not for Felix. No, it will not, because they are exercising in 2014. So there is no problem. There is no problem at all. See, our exercise is out. Our exercise is bado wako hapo ndani. So bado wako entitled to earnings. So there's no problem. Alright, so 2015, they're not saying anything. So if they don't say anything, then it means the shares you closed with last year, and you don't take the weighted, you take the actual number of shares, 6. So this 6 is what you are going to use in 2015. Because they are silent, they have not said whether they issued other shares in 2015. So you come here and say, basic EPS 2015 is equals to profit. Just pull this profit, 45. So you pull 45, you divide by the 6. Because it will be 6 times 12 over 12. So don't waste your time. Divide by 6. What do you get? $7.5 per share. 7.5 per share. Video. Back to handout. Okay, where's my handout? Back to handout. But I don't think if I need that handout, I can do without it. No, someone to be posting the group. I don't want to go back to that office right now. Someone to send in the to repost in the group. I can use my phone. Mtu atafute hiyo handout atupostie so that we continue. So back to handout. Thank you. I can see it has been shared there very fast. So open that handout. Open that handout. We are back to where? Restatement of EPS. That is where we are. Restatement of EPS. Be there. So we read, it is the comparative, so comparison of EPS in the current period with the prior financial years, taking into consideration bonus issue, rights issue, reverse and share splits. That one will not make us understand anything. Let's go to layman's word for us to get this. Restatement, what I want you to know and appreciate, what I want you to know and appreciate is that these 4 things here, rights issue, bonus, share splits, reverse split. All these things are problems to an entity. Ni mashida tupu, all of them. Look at rights issue. You are giving shares at a discount. Who is catering for the discount? The company. It is an expense to the company. Look at bonus, the serious one. Giving shares to the shareholders for free, no consideration at all. But you have to print the share certificates. You have to call these people to notify them, all those things. Another problem. Look at the share split. Share split, you are increasing the number of shares in issue by reducing the par value. You are likely to cause what we call dilution effect. The EPS is likely to be affected. Look at the reverse split. You are making shares very expensive, which scares even the investors. So all these four, when you check them in literal way, they are problems to an entity. So when you are told to restate earnings per share, you ask yourself, what happened this year? So like when you're doing EPS for 2022, the examiner will tell you to restate for 2021. We restate backwards. So when you are told to restate EPS, you check of these four, what happened this year? And what if it could have happened in the previous financial year? Then you make your conclusion, bearing in mind that we consider them to be problems. So this problem happened this year, and we reported EPS of 1.5. What if it took place last year? If you assume last year it is 1.8, then last year was even better than this year. So when you are told to restate EPS, quickly you run here. Check which of these took place in the current year. And what if, actually it is done on what if assumption. What if that could have taken place last year? What would have been EPS? So I want to write for me small summary there. How do you restate when you are dealing with the rights issue? So first of all, I want you to understand the restatement. Restatement is you are trying to compare EPS last year, assuming that which happened this year could have happened last year. You check bonus took place this year, yes. What if it took place last year? EPS ingekuwa ngapi? So that is what we call restatement. So you go and adjust the EPS for last year, assuming what happened this year will have taken place last year. So I want you to know how to restate when dealing with the rights issue, when dealing with bonus, when dealing with split, and when dealing with reverse. So in your small summary notes there, you say restatement under one rights issue. Under rights issue. Let's start with that one. So if they tell you to restate under rights issue, you take EPS previous year times, you just change this one. Now your bonus factor is what you change. The reciprocal of that, X rights price divided with the CAM rights price. CAM rights price. That is how we restate. You take the reciprocal of this. This is the main issue, this bonus factor. So this is what you deal with. So you go last year, you check what was the EPS, multiply with the reciprocal of that bonus factor. You will have restated. 2, for bonus. Bonus issue, you take EPS previous year times the bonus factor. So how do you get the bonus factor in a bonus issue? You take shares, ordinary shares. You take ordinary shares before rights issue. Before bonus. Before bonus issue, divided by ordinary shares after bonus issue. That is how you get the bonus factor. That is the bonus factor. So if you are restating in the presence of a bonus, check EPS last year, multiply with the bonus factor. Bonus factor is that one there. All right, so when it's a share split, when it is a share split, sawa Adam, then we go for prayers. So share split, you take powers of the previous year, of course, over 1 then you multiply with the splits. So if they told you to split them into 2, you multiply by 2. For reverse, if it is reverse split, you take powers, you divide by 1 divide by the splits. Equal. So reverse, you divide this one here, the denominator. You don't interfere with the numerators. But all are for previous years, the previous financial periods. So please just master this one here. So we are going for prayers. Then what I want you to do for me during prayers, during and after, you check for me the advantages of EPS, then limitations. Then mark any which you want us to discuss. You need more clarification on the advantages and limitations. We clarify, then we go to diluted EPS. So do for me that, read the advantages and limitations. If nobody raises concern, I will jump, then I go to diluted EPS. Thank you. Is the prayer over? Is the prayer over? Good. So, where are my notes? In the advantages and limitations, is there anything you require clarification before we proceed? Is there any point maybe you need clarification on your side? So it seems there is none. If there is none, then please let's proceed to diluted EPS. Diluted earnings per share. Diluted earnings per share. So hii mambo ya dilution itabidi muelewe properly. You have just gone to the stock market for investment purposes. You have approached a broker. The broker has told you all those English, open CDS account and the rest, which you had before going there. You have 100 million to invest. Then one of the drivers to help you invest is the EPS. EPS is the driver. So the broker tells you that currently in the stock market, we have these two companies, in which case company X has reported 11.9 per share, that is EPS. This one has reported 8.6 per share. So as a normal human being, you will want to invest in the X because the earnings for every share you have is quite high. But what you should know, that is very dangerous, very, very dangerous when making that investment decision. Because sometimes these people find currently they are reporting good EPS, which is attractive, but maybe they had given out to the public there these items. Convertible preference, convertible debts, and maybe they are given options. Either of these or all. You know this clause convertible, this one is here. Convertible means kama ni debt. It means these people took a loan and they will not pay. Siku ya loan ikifika ya kulipa, these people will convert that loan amount into ordinary shares. Preference shareholders, we agree, wakaekae kidogo, then they convert their preference shares into ordinary. Options, in ile employees tulifanya juzi, you agree with the employees that you just work for 5 years, we give you shares in this company. So right now, hawajakuja, their time for conversion has not arrived, has not elapsed, and they are reporting 11.95. This company has not given out any of this. So you tell the broker that, my friend, fine, X seems to be doing well. Have they given out any convertible securities? We call them securities. Have they given out any convertible securities or instruments? Unakwambia yes. Then unamwambia, then what will you do for me? I would really wish to know the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is that when these people will convert into ordinary shares, you know, when they convert into ordinary shares, then check what happens. How do you calculate EPS? It is the profit over the weighted average. This one will shoot up. The shares will go up. So when this one goes up, my friend, expect EPS to do what? To drop. So you will be interested as the investor to know what is the worst case scenario if these people convert, EPS will drop to what level? So that worst of the worst, it will drop. That is what we call diluted earnings per share. So you find that if these people come on board, this 11 can even drop up to 6 per share. But we work on what if they convert. So diluted, you will be doing on assumption, which I want you to focus in reality. Umeenda to invest. We have said, oh, by the way, some of us, if not all, but I believe almost all, you know about Eveready. But some of us, I know they have not read the history behind Eveready, what happened. Right now, Eveready is not performing. The Eveready of 1990s is not the Eveready of today. It used to be a very good company. Even serious politicians really invested in Eveready. But what happened to Eveready was this one, the second one, this one. They had borrowed, and they invested in bonds, debentures, and other debts with the clause convertible. Convertible means we shall not repay the loan. When the duration to pay the loan comes, you join us as a shareholder. Use the loan amount to be a shareholder. So people were buying shares in, if you get time, some of the story Eveready, people were really buying shares in Eveready because EPS ilikuwa juu. Then when these people joined, walijoin na pesa mingi hivi, almost there were billions of money being converted into shares. EPS will drop. I was told there's a time they were giving at shillings 30 per share. So imagine you even invested everything you had in your life. You may invest at 20,000. You have 20,000 shares. Then earnings is 30 per share. Here you know that at the end of the year, I would have had less than 600,000. Then I was told it reached a point it dropped from 30 to 0.6 per share. So it means if you are having 20 times this, I think is something like 12,000. You are expecting 600,000. Then those two after converting you pesa mingi in a drop back up 0.6, unapata check ya 12,000. The next thing you will do, unakasirika. And by the way, for investment purposes, any moment you realize a drop, don't go that God is going to turn things around. Don't leave your investment. Any moment you see a drop, and then pesa yako immediately. You know, like what happened in Safaricom, just this year, not even the other year. This year, hizo shares za Safaricom kuna siku zilienda mpaka around 38. Yes, they went up to 38. Then I know one investor who I will not say because you might not be knowing the person. Akasema 38 is okay, wacha ningoje ipande pande hata mpaka 45. The next ilishuka mpaka 31. Akasema maybe that is normal bears and the bulls, maybe it will stabilize. Saa hii sijui imefika 27 ama ni 28. So once you detect a drop, swallow the pin, get out immediately. So people started taking off. Some of them even lost their shares because even whoever was the MD, yeye mwenyewe ndiye alikuwa number 1 kutoka. Unaenda kutransfer, hata kumtoa kutransfer yeye mwenyewe hayuko, mwenye alikuwa yeye pia ameshatoka. So the worst case scenario that these people will join, worst case scenario in terms of EPS, that is what we call diluted. So to dilute one, you must have the basic. So basic is this. Please calculate for me, and that is what you should tell the broker. Can you hii watakuficha kwanza? Lazima ukuwe umetoka Alliance. Ndio unamwambia, you are telling me this one is better, yes. These people, do they have any potential? We call them potential because they have capability of being converted. Actually, they are legally registered. They go through the legal process. Kitu inabaki tu ni hapo kwa registrar, hiyo siku ikifika ziweke kwa CR12 and that is it. So you ask the broker, wao watakuficha, watakuonesha hivi. This one they will hide. Then you quickly, because these people also have bribed them. Mtu akikuja muonesha hii, na hii ndio tulilipa last year. People run and invest here. Ask them, do they have loans or options? Wame promise employees that they will give them shares. Akikwambia yes, mwambie, my friend, can you calculate for me on assumption that these people have come? Assume wamekuja na wakuje leo with the profit we have right now. What will be the new EPS? Hey, anaweza kufanyia hiyo hawa walikuja uone kufika hata 2. Useme unaenda kukula pesa yako kwa tumbo. You don't want those things. So that too, the worst case, that is the diluted earnings per share. So back to our notes. Okay, have you understood the concept? 1, 2, 3 people, have you understood the concept? Nataka tu hiyo concept iingie of dilution. Have you understood the concept? Yes, sawa. Then Adam, wewe umeweka unani text directly, badilisha ikuwe to the class. Wewe umeweka naweza kosa kuona. So back to our notes. Steps for determining diluted earnings per share. So steps, we have step 1. When you are told to calculate diluted, you determine the basic EPS first. That is number 1. You must have basic for you to calculate dilution. 2, rank the ordinary shares based on the incremental earnings per share. That one I will not even explain until we are doing a question. Explaining it will just be a waste of time. Determine diluted earnings per share based on the rank in step 2 above. Important notes. DPS is calculated from profit on continuing operations only. So if you have profit from discontinued and continuing, for diluted you take only continuing because it is futuristic. We only focus on future. Once a share split or reverse split has taken place, any subsequent issue of shares must be adjusted to reflect such a split or reverse. Those ones explainable with illustration. So back to our past paper. Back to our past paper. Which question? Back to our past paper. April 2022. April 2022. April 2022, page 12. I'm giving you time kidogo, msome hiyo swali. Hebu go through yourself, then we'll read that answer again. It will sink more. So let me join you in reading. It says, where? R Limited, a public traded company, had 9 million ordinary shares of shillings 1 par value and 1 million 7% redeemable preference shares of shillings 10 par value, each on 1st October 2020. I have a comment to make there, a serious one. We have these preference shares, these preference shares called redeemable and irredeemable. Treatment of these things are totally different in accounting, any accounting. Redeemable, redeemable are those preference who sold us, these people, preference shareholders are not the real owners of the company. They just provide capital, alafu watapotea. Wanakaa kwa kungoja preference dividends. So redeemable, they give us money just for some years, like 5 or 10. Then they take back their money. But irredeemable are there forever. They are there as long as the company remains in existence. In fact, in accounting, irredeemable is treated more or less of equity, ordinary share capital. They are treated more or less of ordinary share capital. So in accounting, redeemable is not treated as part of equity. It is treated as an current liability. Because ni watu wanakupea tu hiyo kitu atakuwa capital ni kama loan. Because they give you then after some time wanachukua hiyo pesa wanaenda. But redeemable are there forever. So this one is treated as part of equity. All of which are paid dividends. The dividends you pay to redeemable is not treated as dividends per se. It's treated as finance costs. It is normally viewed just as a cost of financing that loan. It is normally treated as a loan because they give you capital, but after 5, 3, 10 years, wanachukua pesa yao wanatoka. But this one remains there. So the dividends, what we normally consider as dividends to preference, if it relates to this ones here, if they relate to irredeemable. If the question is silent on what type of preference they are talking about, then they are always assumed to be this one, E, irredeemable. So the reason why I've stopped there, when we want to get PAUS, the profit attributable to ordinary shareholders, we take the PAT, then we subtract preference dividends. you need to know that that preference dividend, we always subtract this from this one, redeemable. Any moment they talk of redeemable, that is not dividends. That is a finance cost, which is more or less of interest. We pay them that cost to finance whatever they gave us. So in this case, I will not subtract preference dividends. Please take that note. And that one should not apply to EPS only. We are accountants in different places. That is something we need to appreciate. Redeemable are people gives us money, then they will take it back. So it is not treated as equity. It is treated as a loan, actually, non-current liability. So yes, they are paid dividends, but the dividends they are paying is treated as finance cost. If the question is silent, we assume irredeemable, and that is taken to equity, and the dividends paid is considered to be dividends. So take that note. Paragraph 2. As at that date, R Limited also had an issued 2.5 million stock options. Stock options ni ile privilege unapea employees on some conditions, fanya kazi tutapewa shares. These options are exercisable at shilling 1.5 per share. The average fair value per ordinary share during the year ended 30th September 2021 was shillings 2. No problem. R Limited profit for the year to 30th September 2021 from continuing operations was 14,575. On 30th September 2020 last year was 15.1 million. No problem. The following transactions took place during the year ended 30th September 2021. Number 1, on 1st January 2021, the company issued 1.8 million ordinary shares in a 1-for-5 rights issue at a price of 2, when the market price per share on CAMRIGHT basis was 5. On 1st April, R issued 1 million ordinary shares at their full market value. On 1st July, the company issued a shilling 5 million convertible bonds with an effective interest rate of 12%. The bond is convertible into ordinary shares at the holder's option on the basis of 60 shares per shillings 100 bond. None of the bond was converted during the year ended 30th September 2021. So they were convertible, but nobody had converted by the end of the year. So our ordinary shares will not be affected. No one had converted. Income tax. The income tax rate applicable to R Limited is 30%. Required basic earnings per share for the year ended 30th September 2021. So let's kick off. Nothing to fear. So basic EPS 2021 will be the powers over ONEOS. Have that. Very good. So powers 2021, check before note additional information number 1. 2021, it was 14,575. I hope you can be able to see that. You can be able to see that. Then now let's go to ONEOS. Let's go to ONEOS. But in this year, there was a rights issue. When ukiona tu rights issue, na macho yako hivi, when you utaiona, thinking begins after you have calculated X rights price. Kindly, na inamakiwa, that one always has a mark. So you must calculate X rights price First, whenever you see rights issue, X rights price comes first. So let's calculate X rights price. So X rights price will be, check the basis on which they were giving the rights. You are getting 1 for 5. So 1 new for 5 old. 1 new for 5 old. So 1 for 5 rights at a price of 2. When the market price on CamRight was 5. So therefore, the average will be 27 divided by 6. Give me the answer. Give me that answer. So that one comes to 4.5. Thank you. So we want to go to Wanos computation. We want to go to Wanos computation. I want to go to Wanos computation. That's my ruler. So Wanos computation, you will have it this way. The question is having a rights issue. So right here, date, details, shares, weight, bonus factor, then Wanos. Like that. So have that. Yani at least hata kama kwa mtihani hautapata marks yote, at least ukiona EPS you know how it goes. Unaweza pambana kwa katikati, si ati uko tu 0. So we start. Always start at the beginning of the year. The year here which we are required to compute ends on 30th September 2021. When should it start? That year starts when, student? Inaanzia lini? That year starts when? It ends on 30th September, so it should commence when? It should start on 1st October 2020, correct? So 1st October 2020, balance brought down. You check how many shares were there. You want to take a screenshot of where? This one. You will take very fast, Susan. So it started on 1st October 2020. Balance brought down. How many shares? Sasa hivi tumezoea hii kitu, so tunafaa tuende tukiengage. How many shares are you seeing which were there at the beginning when this year started? Correct, 9 million. When the question started, they say, are a publicly traded company had 9 million ordinary shares? Let up 9 million. We are working in thousands, so have 9 million. 9 million. Then, inaenda hivi, check the date, angalia mbele kidogo. The date when the next shares are coming in. So you will weigh these shares up to the date when the next ones are coming. So when you check note one is where on 1st January, the company issued 1.8. So actually 1.8 million shares in the one for rights issue. So rights issue is coming. So can you weigh these shares, this 9,000, up to the date of the rights issue? How many months? Up to the date of rights ndio zikuje zikutane na hiyo zikisonga mbele. How many months if you count up to that date? Kwa nini mmekuwa slow leo? How many months are those? Yeah, those are 3 months. So that is 3 over 12. From October to January next year, those are 3 months. October, November, December. Then they will team up. So even the shares before the rights issue. Then bonus, you take this one here. You take the fair value before the rights issue, which was this one here. 5 over the X rights price, this one. So you come here under the bonus factor, you give us the fair value, which is the come right, over the X rights price, which is 4.5. Give me this figure. Give me that figure. Multiply. How much is that? Not how much that is weight. So how many? 9 times that times that times that. What do you get? Adam is saying 25. Confirm. Is 25 for Adam confirmed by any? Yes, Susan can confirm that. So that is 25. Alright. Go to the next date. Unaenda tu procedurally hivyo tu. So the next date is 1st January 2021. 1st January 2021. What happened? Rights issue. Rights issue. So rights issue, go back to that note. The company issued 1.8 million ordinary shares in a one for right. So through the rights issue, they got 1.8 million ordinary shares. So hiyo wameshatupea tayari. Good. Angalia wangesema, so they said 1 for every 5. Ungechukua 9 times 1 over 5, you will get the same thing. Alright. So hapo ni wanafunzi wanapoteleanga. I want you to be keen. So these were shares before the rights issue. After the rights issue, you will add this plus this. They will be having 10,800. So walingojeana hizo shares. Hii ilikuja ikakutana hizi zika team up ikafika 10,800. Then the 10,800 sasa sijui gani itawafurahisha, nitawaonyesha zote mbili. This 10,800 you check ahead when these people are issuing other shares, then you multiply with the months up to that date watapeana hizo zingine. Hebu mrushe macho mbele. How many months to the next issue? Can you check ahead? How many months to the next issue? How many months to the next issue? Alan is saying 3 months. Anyone else? Said is also saying 3 months. Let me check. The next issue, on 1st April, they issued 1 million, correct? So in April, there's another issue. This is January. So January, February, March. So on 1st April, on issue again, so 3 months. So it means this 10,800, I will wait them for 3 months. Ndio team up na hiyo nyingine inakuja. So hapa kuna kitu. So take 10,8 times 3/12. But hapa nitaonyesha another way, then you tell me which one is better. So 10,800 times 3/12. 27. Haya. 1st April 2021. New issue. New issue 1. So this 10 inakuja tunakutana na hiyo 1. So top up this plus this. That one comes to 11,800. Check ahead when they are giving another shares. Is there any shares coming ahead? No. Hakuna shares zinakuja. Not really mambo ya bonds. And nobody converted those bonds. So no shares ahead. If no shares ahead, maliza mwaka. From 1st April to September, how many months? So you just close. You weigh them up to the end. How many months remaining? Yes, and they are convertible. Convertible means they are potential, but nobody converted. Even they say they are convertible, but nobody converted. Hata umeandika vizuri sana, convertible. So 6 months to go. So 6/12. So 11,800 times 6/12. How much? How many? You get 59. So that is all. Can you add? Add for me this. Kwenye najua watu wengine wamepotelea ni hapa hii space. So I'll do something nione kama it will be better. So when you add all this, 11,100. 11,100. Or if this one is confusing you, you can do this. The 9, either I want to negotiate. This one has no negotiation. 9, you must do 9 before the rights issue. 3, that. So this one will remain. You are either to negotiate. Then after the rights issue, 10,800. You take this plus this. Let's go back a year of 10,800. So hapo ndio unaweza negotiate. Either you check ahead to check how many months to the next issue, 73 months, ama uachane na hii. Useme new issue has nothing to do with this. Then you take the 10,800 for the remaining period. Remaining period is 9 months. Remember, this is 1st January. So you take this plus this, you put 10,800, then umalize. Useme 9/12. What is 10 times 9/12? Already 3 months gone, so unasema the remaining period. So you don't want to combine this one with this. You want to treat this one separately. So 9 over 12 times 10, 8, 81. Then you bring the 1 without combining it. 1 came in April, so 6 months to go. That is 500. Can you add for me this, whether you will get the same answer? Can you add whether you get the same answer? 11,100. Yes, it will always give you the same. So which one is better? Students, ama ziko tu sawa? Which one will work better? Tupige stopover ama after this, tuchape mpaka mwisho, then we break this one separate, the way I've done this? Or you understand this? According to Adam, the first one is working better. According to someone else, according to Said, the first one is better. What about others? Faith, Felix, Lynette, Monica, Susan. Susan, you are saying second one, inataka mtu ako, inataka mtu ako na experience. Wacha tuachie hapo. Wacha tuzoee hii yetu. Hii ya kufika nusu. Faith, you have already gotten used to the first one. Thank you. Let's stick to this one here. So I will repeat it once more. Hey, Felix. Hii ingine ni mambo ya legend, sawa. Wacha tukae kwa hii. So shares before the rights issue. So before rights, 3 months. Bonus factor. Bring the rights, but don't wait the rights. You combine them. This plus the ones you generated through the rights, Apple. Then you check ahead. How many months to the next issue? So January tukiangalia mbele ni April. So unachapa la 3 over 12. Then you combine this with the ones which are coming in 11, 8 to the remaining months, because there is, kama kungekuwa another issue, you project again mpaka hiyo siku. Kama ni 2 months, you wait this for 2 months, unafika hapo ukisonga hivyo like that. Therefore, basic EPS will be the pulse. Pulse uko nayo hapo juu kwa wakili zako. Pulse is 14,575 divided by 11,100. How much per share? How much per share? How much per share? $1.31. $1.31 per share. Sawa. Sawa. Let's go to Roman 2 of the question. Roman 2, they want restated EPS for 2020. For 2020. So when they want restated EPS for 2020, check what happened in 2021, which is of concern, and you want to take it to last year. What was that? I'm coming in 1 minute. I'm back. I'm back. So, yes. So restated EPS, what you check this year, what happened, which is bringing concern, is the rights issue. When you want to restate, you check rights issue, bonus, share split, reverse this year. Then you ask yourself, what if it could have happened last year? So in the presence of a rights issue, you take EPS for the previous year. Remember EPS 2020, you multiply with the ex rights, divide by the come right price. That is always the formula. That is the formula. Very good. Very, very good. Higher. EPS last year, we were given profit for last year. Hapo tulipata profit pia tulipewa last year. Hiyo ada anasema it was 15,100. Profit was 15,100 divided by to get EPS divide with WANOS. WANOS, of course, is the opening. Opening this one here, the 9. What we opened in 2021 was the closing in 2020. So divided by 9. 9 was the WANOS for last year, which was brought down this year. So divide by 9. So that was the EPS last year. Then ex rights price is 4.5, come right is 5. That's reciprocal. So that is the restated EPS. Give me that figure. As simple as that. So Faith, you didn't understand the come right 1.5 or 1.5 per share. So Faith, come right is the fair value of the shares before the rights issue. We have been using it. The fair value before the rights issue. So much you know, number 1 vizuri utaiona. Hiyo 5. The fair value of the shares. Faith, the book check, alafu niambie. Good. Seen. That is okay. Now tunaenda kwa the father of EPS, diluted earnings per share. So when you want to do diluted, please identify potentials. Potentials zinakuwa tatu. All can be present, at least 2. Options, convertible preference, convertible debts. Convertible debts can be debentures, loan stock, bonds, those ones. So you check those 3, which one was present in our question. So in the first paragraph, before note 1, note 2, the first paragraph, check the second paragraph where the question started. You are capable of seeing, identify potential ordinary shares. You see, like you now, you are potential of becoming CPA case because you are just remaining with few papers to go. So you are very much potential. So potential means they can be converted. So in paragraph 2, there were stock options. Options are very, very potential. Then in number 3, note 3, additional information number 3, there was 12% convertible bonds. Please, kindly stop what you are doing, listen to this. For bonds and preference, bonds, debentures, loan stocks, and preference, it must have this clause, convertible. If the clause convertible is not there, then it is not potential. Not all of them must be converted. So for it to be converted, for it to be deemed to be potential, it must have the clause convertible. The only one allowed not to have convertible is options, but the rest must have that clause convertible. So in some questions, you will find bonds without the clause convertible. Those ones are not potential. You will not bother about them. Thank you. So there is something we want to do. We have started the road to dilution. So be standby because this is the first thing we are doing with the dilution. You pick options one by one. You check the impact. If these people take up shares, how will the company's profit be affected? How will the shares be affected? So you analyze those for all those potentials. So come here and start with number 1, options. Start with options. Start with options. So for options, you say incremental earnings. Incremental earnings means how much will the company get when employees, because options is to employees, when employees takes up shares, how much will the company get? They will always get 0. In any other question, when they get a 0. Why? Employees normally affect the company's earnings through salaries. You cannot tell us that you are giving us shares, alafu tusilipe mshahara. So ukaenda hizo shares, we don't need them. Mlipe mshahara na itafutie shares kwingine. So whether you give us shares or not, wewe ujipange utulipe mshahara. So there is always no change. So for incremental earnings, when dealing with options, always write 0. Incremental shares. Incremental shares. So I want you to understand very well for options what happens. I want you to understand for options what happens because all of them are the same. Once you understand one, the rest will be quite easy for you to understand. So for options, check here. Read that paragraph 2. As at the date, R also had an issue 2.5 million stock options. These options are exercisable at 1.5 per share. The average fair value per ordinary share during the year was 2. So this 2.5 average market price for the whole year, the 2.5, they were trading at shillings 2. But these people are told to exercise at 1.5. So they are being enticed, because they are being told to take them up at 1.5, they are being enticed to take more. So the incremental, you say 2 minus 1.5. Don't say it's a decrease. They are enticing them to buy more, so it's an incremental. So how much? That is 0.5. So for the options, the incremental is this difference between the fair value and the exercise price, which in finance you call intrinsic value. So they are being told to buy at 1.5, but the average market price is 2. So the incremental is only 0.5. So you come and ask yourself, what about 0.5? Because in the market, the 2.5 are being valued at 2. Incremental is the difference between the market value and the exercise price. So we always go for that difference, kindly. All options are just the same in any question we do. So you go for this incremental. So you say if 2 is to 2.5, the incremental of 0.5 will give us how many shares? So you come here and say 2.5, we work in 1,000. So 2.5 times 2 minus 1.5 divided by 2. This is 0.5. 2 minus 1.5 is 0.5, so it is 0.5 over 2. I'm subtracting just to show you how the 0.5 is coming in the picture. And then I don't know what you're saying, 0.625. Am I using ushafanya yote? So if you do the entire, I think it's what you're saying, divide by 2 by 2,500, yeah, 625. Here. We're working in thousands, so just multiply by 1,000. So that is 625. Please don't get this one wrong. It is always easy. They will give you the average and the exercise. Incremental is the difference between the two. So you say if 25 is the average, what about this? Then you multiply. Then you say incremental earnings per incremental shares. Earnings per incremental shares. So you take the earnings 0 divided by incremental shares is 625. So 0 divided by 625 is 0. So up there 0. Out there 0. So that analysis, fine. We go to number 2. 12% convertible bonds. So 12% convertible bonds. 12% convertible bonds. You assess the same earnings and shares. So you come and say incremental earnings. So you is equal to 0. Incremental earnings the bondholders are always entitled to interest. They are always entitled to interest. So you check. These people, we normally pay them interest. If they will convert, they will cease from getting interest, and that is what the company will save. So for bonds, debentures, loan notes, check interest. So you come here and say 12%. What was the value of the bonds? So go and check the value of the bonds. Go and check the value of the bonds. Bonds negative. Note 3. 5 million. So times 5 million times, when were they issued? They were issued on 1st July 2021. 1st July 2021, and the year was ending in September. So they were interested in interest. They were entitled to interest in July, August, September, only 3 months. So kama broker anakufanyia hesabu, mta consider only 3 months. What if they join right now? They will forgo interest for 3 months. So times 3 over 12. Times 3 over 12 times 0.7. 0.7 in finance, mnajuangwa, when dealing with earnings, when dealing with interest, you always take 1 minus what? T. Pre-tax to gross back interest, because interest should be before taxation. So you multiply back by 0.7, 70%. So you take pre-tax, which is 1 minus T. That is how you do interest. So most students wanasawingi mambo ya tax. That is why we were given note number 4. So note number 4 was not there for fun. It was there for a purpose. Kali sana. So naona watu kama Thomas wanaweka tu status, wana celebrate mpira, na mimi wanaandikia message kindly record. Kwenye mambo ya kindly record ilitoka. Naona yeye ako kwa mpira wamekaa. Mimi ananiambia kindly record. So said and the rest 105. 105. Haya. Check incremental shares. Incremental shares. So incremental shares, I want you to do this. So incremental shares, you check how many shares will you get if you convert this 5 million. Example atakwambia soma hiyo note 3 vizuri. Just in that note 3 utaambiwa vizuri. How many shares will you get? How many shares will you get? 60. Can everyone see that figure? No. So you get 60 for every shillings 100 of the bond. That is what they are saying. Yes. You will get, if you convert, you will get 60 for every shillings 100. And we have shillings 5 million. So times shillings 5 million. But for 3 months. One ounce will be for 3 months. So 60 over 100 times that. What do you get? $750. Thank you. So earnings per incremental shares, take 105 divided by 750. Tell me what you are getting. $105 divided by 750, earnings per incremental shares. What do you get? You are getting 0.14. 0.14. Now there is an issue here. Assuming easy promises ulipeana the same day, uliongea na employees na pia ukachukua loan the same day. Hawa wote wanataka kukuja, we want to share, siku imefika. It can be very much chaotic. So when the conversion period comes, there is a procedure how they should be converted into shares. So this is the procedure. The one with the least effect on EPS, we call those people first. So you rank them. Like between the two, the one with the least is this one. And in all questions, option itakuanga number 1. So you rank this one position 1. This is position 2. You check the earnings per incremental shares. The one with the least takes position 1. So this is number 1. This is number 2. So you rank them based on those positions. Very good. Now we are going to the last stage of calculating DPS. So we are going to calculate DPS based on these ranks. So right that side, DPS computation, diluted earnings per share. Now is when we want to calculate DPS. Adam, repeat on when to use the tax in this illustration. When calculating interest. When calculating interest, use pre-tax, 1 minus T. Peke yake, only for interest. Don't apply it to dividends, don't apply it to anything. Only for taxation. And the reason inakuanga hivi, hiyo profit unataka kutumia ni after tax. Na unajua interest inakuanga before tax. So ndio urudi huko before tax, you take 1 minus T, you go to pre-tax. So only on interest. Let's go to DPS computation. So you write here potential ordinary shares. You write here earnings. So earnings is the powers. You write here shares. Shares is the ones. Then DEPS. Like that. Have that arrangement. This is where now you get the diluted earnings per share. Check. So we start. What do you want to dilute? We want to dilute the basic. So before you start dilution, you come and say from basic EPS. From basic EPS. What was the powers, please? Ebu check how we calculated basic. Uniambie the numerator and the denominator. Numerator was the profit, which was 14. Check. 14,575. I remember shares was 11,100. Ilikuwa 1 point. No, this one, what was the EPS? EPS ilikuwa? This divided by this gave us 1.3101. Ilikuwa ngapi? What was our basic EPS? The one we computed? That divided by that? 1.13. Ilikuwa hivyo kweli? See 1.31. Say it. 1.31. Yes. It was 1.31. So this was our EPS without bringing anyone. Now, we have sat down with who? Broker. Tukafanya hesabu. Our employees wamekuwa promised, wakikuja, we know the effect on the earnings, we know the effect on shares. So go and bring options and bonds based on the runs. Number one, inakuja kwanza. You cannot bring all of them at once. So options first. So bring options. So options wakikuja, earnings will not change. Zero. But shares will go up by 625. This one, incremental shares. So shares will go up by 625. So add and get the new position. This one will remain constant, but this one will increase 11,725. So after employees have taken up shares, give me the new EPS. Take now the new position, 14 divided by 11. Give me the new EPS. Kindly. 1.24. Thank you. Dilution imeanza. EPS imeanza kuteremka. When those bondholders will convert, when the bondholders convert, it will be, so you bring 12% convertible bonds. 12% convertible bonds. 12% convertible bonds. It will be 105. Then incremental shares will be 750. So get the new position. Get the new position. So new position is 14,680. The other one? Watu wengine wanashindwa kuja class, sasa naona wanaingia pap, wanachungulia kama tuko alafu wanatoka. 12,475. So get new EPS. Take this, divide by this to get the new EPS. 1.17. CO 1.18, Felix, is 1.18 if you round off. 1.18. That is the last. Now, if the worst comes to the worst, EPS will drop from 1.3 to 1.18. So, therefore, diluted EPS will be the least, not the last. It is a coincidence that here the last is the least. In some questions, the least inaweza kuwa huku katikati. So in this one here, the last is also the least. So you pick the least of all these ones here. So diluted EPS is shillings 1.18 per share. So ukitaka kuweka pesa yako, weka huko. Ujue the worst case scenario ni hiyo. Full stop. Can you compare that EPS with ile mnafanyaga kwa FM? Hii inakuwa na maneno mingi. Hii dawa inakuwa na So I want to leave you with 2 assignments for our Friday next week's class. Assignment number 1, go through this question. Pole pole. That's assignment 1. Assignment 2, try for me this question. September 2015. Question number 4B. Page 118. Try that question. Don't go to this question if you have not revised this one. Revise this one first, uelewe, then uende hapo, then tutafanya kwa hiyo class ya Friday. So thank you so much for your time. At least we have moved and we are at par now with other classes.